Joining us now is Father Thomas Massaro, a Jesuit priest and theology professor at Fordham University. Good morning, Father.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Father, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us. Let me ask you about Pope Francis's legacy, in your opinion.
Oh, well, he's a very influential pope, having served for 12 years. That's not such a long time, I suspect, but it really has changed the course of the way the Roman Catholic Church relates to the outside world. And I think the deepest memory people will have is that this is a good, approachable pope, one that people felt close to elderly and kids. And I think it really put a human face on the papacy.
And Father, he began his papacy with a simple act, asking for the blessing of the people, and to end his life with that final act, that surprise appearance through St. Peter's Square. How significant will that be?
The fact that the Pope almost always at the beginning, the end, and every day in between asked for people's prayers and their own blessings, you're right. That's a sign of his humility, and that, I think, is the message he wanted to send, a message of mercy, of humility, of caring for the poor and the marginalized, like refugees. I think that's going to leave an indelible impact on how people view the papacy in the future.
Let me ask you personally, how you, playing along the lines of what you just talked about, the fact that he did care so much for migrants and the marginalized, the poor, prisoners, etc., the fact that that was at the forefront of his papacy and the world got an opportunity to see his actions, not just his words.
Yes, he talked a lot about mercy, and that's just a nice word on a page of a theology book, unless a pope enacts mercy. He was on over 40 international trips, and on the itinerary of every one of those that I know of, he made time for the lowly, the poor. When he came to New York, he visited a church, Our Lady of Queen of Angels, in Harlem, East Harlem, one of the poorest zip codes in the whole New York area. He wanted to seek out the people, the little kids in this case, who were in the school there. And my mother went to that school when it was Italian Harlem back in the 1940s. So he always made his itineraries around the needy people, and especially in refugee camps.
There were so many moments to see his beautiful smile as he greeted the faithful. Can you tell us, Father, what happens in the next few days?
Yes, so for the next 7 or 8 days, there'll be a time of mourning, and it will culminate in the funeral. A papal funeral in the past has been a very ornate, elaborate, stylized liturgy. About 2 years ago, he published a document where he simplified the funeral rituals. Even his coffin will be a fairly simple, by papal standards, coffin with just one zinc lining, not 3 like the previous popes. And he'll be buried in I wouldn't say it's a small church, but Santa Maria Maggiore, St. Mary Major, about 2 miles from the Vatican, whereas most recent popes have been buried in the vault of St. Peter's, the basilica at the center of the Vatican. So simple ties to the people. You'll be able to access his tomb much more easily than having to go down. So that's the first stage, a mourning, funeral, and then about 3 weeks from now, the cardinals from all over the world, there's 139 cardinals with voting privileges because they're under the age of 80, they will gather in a conclave. If you've seen the movie Conclave that came out last year, yeah, it was pretty accurate on the details. The cardinals are locked inside, almost sequestered in the Vatican there at the Sistine Chapel, and they do have rounds of voting. It will take multiple rounds. You have to get 2/3 majority, and Pope Francis was elected on the 5th round back in 2013. So I expect multiple rounds of voting, and again, that's about 3 weeks from now.
So, Father, let me ask you this. With that being said, as far as the next pope, not to project too far in advance into the future, do you think the Catholic Church, they go with a pope similar to the teachings of Pope Francis, or do you sense that there may be a change in the offing?
That is a question that theologians talk about all the time. Does Pope A mean that you're going to follow him with a Pope B who's similar or different? So you can be the judge of whether our progression from Paul VI, who died in 1978, to John Paul II, who served until 2005, a 27-year papacy, to Pope Benedict, and now to Pope Francis. I'll let you judge whether they were similar or different. I suspect that Pope Francis has made the papacy, he's remade it in a sense, reformed it, reshaped it, to be more accessible, more of a spiritual leader and less of a doctrinal or even political leader. And I think that the next papacy may look quite a bit like a Pope Francis. And here's the other thing. He's the first non-European pope. He's an Argentinian, right? For at least 400 years, or maybe 1,000 years. So it has opened up the way for us to have a pope from, you name the continent. He was from South America. We could have an Asian, an African, hey, maybe even a North American. We have 7 USA cardinals.
Father, thank you for taking some time for us this morning. We greatly appreciate it.